Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Superboy issue 20 and the second story, Superboy's Safety Code. This is kind of an after-school special. It has the vibe, but it's never fully as aggressively an after-school special as some other stories that feel like after-school specials. This is all about bike safety, sort of. It then loses the plot because, like all Superboy or Superman stories that are about something that isn't crime, they have to throw criminals in there because what if we get bored with Superboy just doing something that doesn't involve fighting crime? God, who wants to see that? I'd love to see him punch a monster. That's what I'm into. But back to this. Kids are being unsafe, specifically one rich kid with a really ridiculous bike that I guess doesn't follow the safety rules Superboy is laying out. He even suggests licenses for kids with bikes. That's ridiculous. I also find it funny him complaining about all the safety problems with kids, but never at any point, seeing it's the 1950s, does he bring up pads or helmets, all of which the kids are lacking. And I think part of my problem with the story comes from a 2026 point of view. God, I almost said 2025. Still not there in the head. But it puts the entire responsibility of safety on the children. And though you do have some of the safety, some of it does actually fall to the driver. It's something that seems un-American because, well, not to get in too deep about this, roads were actually built for pedestrians to walk on. And in fact, roads still are meant to be walked on. But in the 1950s, we put a car executive in charge of our transportation secretary, and he oversaw making basically the United States drivable. Specifically, if you're European, like a lot of my European friends, whenever they come over here and they complain about how nothing is walkable, yeah, that was by design. A car executive made sure that the United States was designed in a way in a very specific time where roads were being built to make it all drivable, so you'd have to be in a car. That's why cities like Los Angeles are not drivable, but New York, which was primarily built before that, in Europe that was primarily built before cars, is very walkable. And in that time, roads, and even in other country, roads are specifically for pedestrians, not just cars. Here we seem to have decided that cars own the roads. But there are reasons for you to be in a road, and also Americans' obsession with very large, big vehicles is leading to a problem where visibility for, say, small kid-shaped things is getting harder. So you'll see like kids getting hit by SUVs where it's like almost impossible due to the car design, get hit by a car because, well, they ran out into the street, and they get blamed for it because why was that child in the street, and not, well, A, the driver wasn't being safe, and the car wasn't built safe enough to be able to see. But I'm going to digress on that. But I will point out once again that it's not entirely the kid's fault. It is also on the driver. But as I've pointed out, he isn't really focused on the safety aspects you want him to be on. They should have pads. They should have helmets. But the story then loses entire focus because we have some criminals who want to steal that fancy bike. Why? It's a good question. I had to reread this. All their plan involves is getting away from the cops on a very narrow bridge cars can't follow them on. That's the entire plan. They need a bike for this. Why specifically that bike? Because that character is kind of our protagonist of the story. It's really dumb, and we lose focus until Superman takes care of these criminals, which in no way taught us anything about bike safety. We lost the whole bike safety idea. I don't know what to do with 50 Superman comics, because it doesn't want to deal with sometimes their actual concept if it takes away from him fighting crime. Look, you don't have to have him fighting crime all the time. It's perfectly fine to have him do an after-school special. Find a way to make his powers interesting to it. Just don't shoehorn criminals into the plot because you got bored. Okay, that is it from Superboy issue 20, Superboy's Safety Code. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story in either Detective Comics or Batman. And until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the boy of tomorrow. And I'm just still mad about roads in America. Okay, have a great day.